Hello there to your markets news. Now, Asian share markets rallied on Monday as investors celebrated the likely resumption of interest rate cuts in the United States, while hoping that AI superstar Nvidia's results this week on Wednesday will help to justify the sector's stratospheric valuations. China and Hong Kong stocks jumped, led by rare earth and property sectors. They extended the recent bull run as abundant liquidity continued to fuel gains. Japan's Nikkei firmed up 0.4%, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng rose 1.9%, and China's Shanghai index climbed 1.5%. U.S. equities surged on Friday, with blue chip Dow hitting a record closing high as investors piled into U.S. stocks after U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell hinted at a near-term interest rate cut during his Jackson Hole symposium speech. The S&P 500 has gained 1.52%, while the Nasdaq Composite was up 1.8%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average also rose 1.8% to 45,631.74. Taking a look at our markets here, the all-share index has gained a point at 0.3%. It's sitting at 103,077. And now a look at our currencies. The rand is currently weaker at 17 rands 54 cents to the dollar. It's at 23 rand 65 to the pound, and at 20 rand 50 cents to the euro. Let's take a look at our commodities for this hour. Gold is trading at $3,666 an ounce, while platinum's at $1,341 an ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $68.07 a barrel. Our market analyst today is Sean Morrison, who is a senior analyst at Rand Swiss. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to On Point. Let's take a look at what's been moving the markets this morning, especially post that Jerome Powell address at the Jackson Hole, and the possibility of a rate cut and what that means for the U.S. and in turn for us here in South Africa as well.
Hello, the Jackson Hole symposium was quite positive for markets. Jerome Powell, it looks almost like a done deal now that we're going to get a rate cut in September, and maybe even another one later on in the year. So, lower rates, that's good for equity markets.
Yeah.
We know the US has been dragging their heels a little bit in terms of when to cut interest rates, and Trump's had a lot to say about that. So all the excitement was on Friday. Strong moves in global equity markets favoring lower interest rates. What we're seeing here today is a little bit more of a muted day as we're just taking stock of those gains. So we've edged up a little bit higher today, but nothing really noticeable. Most sectors are positive. I think the financial sector may be lagging just a little bit.
Yeah. What has been your reading of the Rand over the past week, and looking ahead, how you see the Rand? It's slightly weaker at this hour, but it's been, sitting comfortably at around that 17 rands to the US dollar, compared to the fact that we've been coming from around 18 rands. How do you see it going forward?
Yeah, the Rand has been range bound over the last little bit, generally trading between the levels about 17.50 to the dollar and about 18.20. On Friday, we saw it actually dip below that 17.50 to the dollar mark. That's obviously correlated to that Jerome Powell speech, that easing monetary policy in the US. Today, a little bit weaker, but I think still at near the strongest levels of the year. We could say maybe it's a bit of a it was looking a little bit overbought. Now we're just taking a little bit of stock. So marginal weakness, but Rand is still very strong. We do have some inflation data, some PPI data coming out later in the week, which could provide some domestic pause for catalyst.
Yeah.
But most of the direction on that Rand is really what's happening with the dollar right now.
All right. We saw trading update coming out from Momentum early this morning. They're expecting between a 45% and 55% increase in headline earnings per share. They say that most of their business units have been doing well, especially the South African live businesses. What does this tell us about, what their customers, how they see the environment, as well as themselves having, such strong earnings that they're expecting in the next, in the 17th of September, I think it is, when they'll have the results?
Yeah, it's a good set of results. Earnings per share, headline earnings, normalized headlines, so many different metrics all up in the region of 41 to 62%. People have a little bit more money to spend at this point in time with lower interest rate environment. But we've also had favorable market conditions over the last little bit, which has helped boost earnings. But yeah, like you said, very, very positive set of results. Earnings across the board from all the different divisions, that Momentum Insure, Guard Risk, the life business, are all doing quite well. So company looks good, strong financial health, good cash generation. So all in all positive.
Yeah, here's a company that our viewers may be quite familiar with as Clientele. Their headline earnings per share also expected to go double digits, 39 to 59%. Taking out a lot of insurances, South Africans, would you say?
Well, it looks like it. Maybe a lot of funeral cover. It's good set of results as well. But I think we just need to take stock is that earnings were boosted, and a lot of that earnings boost was a result of the acquisition of that One Life business.
Okay.
So when you strip out that and look at headline earnings, still very good though. So it's not a lot of detail, just a trading statement, but certainly earnings are moving in the right direction, and they're moving quite quickly in the right direction. So another good set of results.
Sean, thank you so much. We'll see what the week has ahead of us. But thank you so much for joining us here on Business on Point. I've been speaking to Sean Morrison. He is with Rand Swiss, and those were your market news for this hour.